هو مثلك يا ملكنا ومثل فعلك، الأمم صارت لنا تحسب حساب. من هو مثلك يا ملكنا ومثل فعلك، الأمم صارت لنا تحسب حساب. الحمل له جبل ما شال حملك، سيرتك في طاعة الله والكتاب. الحمل له جبل ما شال حملك، سيرتك في طاعة الله والكتاب. سيرتك في طاعة الله والكتاب. يا ملكنا يا عسانا
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the weekly Bridges. Tonight we have a special edition of Bridges in the occasion of selecting the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz, the most influential personality in the Islamic world among 500 personalities. And today is another occasion of a happy occasion. Today, the custodian of the two holy mosques received for the first time after undergoing a surgery in King Abdul Aziz Medical City in the National Guard in his back. Today he received the Crown Prince and their Royal Highnesses the Princes. And in this occasion we would like to congratulate the Saudi royal family and the Saudi people in this great occasion for the good health of the custodian of the two holy mosques. In order to discuss why the king was choosing the most influential personality in the Islamic world, I have along with me as a guest Dr. Abdالرحمن العناد, member of the Shura Council and also member of the Saudi Society for Human Rights, or the National Society for Human Rights. Dr. Abdالرحمن, I want to welcome you to the program, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me in this special occasion in which during this joyful night in which we are celebrating seeing King Abdullah in good health today, and we pray for God to heal him and give him health and wellness all the time.
The viewers, the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz, has topped the list of the most influential personalities in the Muslim world for 2012, prepared by Amman-based the Islamic Royal Center for Strategic Studies. The center names the most influential personalities in the light of their influence in the Muslim world, their service to the Muslim causes, in addition to their role in the field of charitable works and their role in the support of science and scientists, and contribution to the spread of culture and awareness among the Muslim nations. King Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz topped a list of 500 personalities due to his role as the custodian of the two holy mosques in Mecca and Medina, which are viewed by the Muslims as the most important, holiest cities. The center highlighted the role of King Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz in the field of Islamic call, noting that he has proved to be an influential leader inside the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia through his reformatory achievements for combating fanaticism and corruption, as well as his role in the field of developing and improving the educational system, in addition to granting scholarships abroad for more than 130,000 male and female students. The center lauded the establishment of King Abdullah Center for Dialogue among followers of religious and cultures in Vienna, as well as granting the Saudi women the right to vote in the municipal election by 2015. Dr. Abdulrahman, welcome once again to the program. Now the selection of the custodian of the two holy mosques dependent on many aspects. Well, the most influential personalities in the Muslim world, their services to Muslim causes, in addition to their role in the field of charitable works. How do you see the role of the custodian of the two holy mosques in the Muslim causes so far?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. King Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz, as king of the major producer of oil in the world, He is the leader of a country which hosts the two holy mosques, the most of the holiest places for all Muslims in the world. Besides his personal characteristics, he has a humble, strong, sincere, faithful personality. He is very anxious and very careful to promote peace and prosperity for actually all the world, not only among Muslims and Muslim nations. His efforts in this regard are well known, and a figure like King Abdullah is not astonishing that he gets such an award or prestigious position, topping 500 personalities in the Islamic world. He before that, of course, got several awards and prestigious prizes and golden medals. The people who know King Abdullah as nations or as leaders of the world, they know his influential efforts to ease and soothe relations among Muslims. For instance, besides the other thing that we will talk about maybe later about his Center for Dialogue, just in the past Ramadan, he actually he decided to establish another center for dialogue among Muslim
doctrines, madhahib al-Islam.
Yes,
doctrines of Islam, yes.
Or sects, yes, and communities. And this is because he is very careful for Muslim to Muslim relations.
It was announced, this announcement, you made a good point, this announcement came in the Islamic Solidarity Conference,
of
which
course,
was held in
it was in Makkah Summit, which
So
was
that's the
it was a special or exceptional, they call it summit for the Islamic Cooperation Organization.
Summit for Solidarity.
For Solidarity, yes. And that's it. Also, we should recognize that the kingdom hosts the Organization for Islamic Cooperation, which
OIC.
is yes, and it hosts the Islamic Bank. It hosts the Islamic News Agency. So in many respects,
the Muslim world,
it's a leading nation, and so the leader of a leading nation must be the leader of the Islamic world.
Sir, now let's begin. You've mentioned it that the prizes or the awards of the custodian of the two mosques. He was chosen in 2008 by Newsweek.
By Newsweek,
as the most or the strongest personalities of the year among the world. In 2011, Forbes magazine chose him as the second influential or the second powerful leader in the world. After the Chinese.
And this continued for two other years.
Two continuous years,
yes.
2 consecutive years. So the choice is not only by the Islamic Royal Center of Strategic Studies in Amman, but the custodian of the two mosques was rewarded by an international organizations and international most important magazines, which is the Newsweek and also the Forbes and many other occasions.
Also, beside that, and within the Islamic world, he was chosen in 1433 Hijrah. I think it's 2011. As the personality of the year by the Commission for Quran Rehearsal during a celebration, a big celebration in Jeddah also.
Yes, well, God preserve him for the Ummah. But all these awards came because of the charisma that the custodian of the two mosques carries. And let's begin from the inside. Now, how he won these prizes or why he was rewarded. Let's go to the reformatory of Saudi Arabia. He started reforms as soon as he became a king. He started reforms in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The educational system, the development of the educational system in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which is called the King Abdullah Project for Developing the education. Also the judiciary system, sir.
Yes.
Was also King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz project to develop the judiciary system, the educational system we will be speaking about, and also the initiation of economic cities around the kingdom.
Economical, yes.
Jazan economic city, Hail economic city, and then Rabagh economic city, King Abdullah economic city, and Rabagh or in the. Let's begin with the education. The education is one of the most important pillars for any nation to march forward, Dr. Abdulrahman. Why do you think the custodian of the two mosques sought the need to reform the education system of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia?
Let me say that since he was a crown prince, he was behind many of the reforms that were witnessed in the kingdom, and started actually about more than 20 years ago by the issuance of the basic order of the kingdom and the establishment of Ashura Council. These reforms covered all aspects of life, political, educational, economical, social, and other aspects. Since he was a crown prince, he was a strong factor and accelerator of these reforms. Especially he was concerned very much about humanitarian aspects of reforms and human rights and women empowerment and participation in society and other things. In the education, the major step of reform started by the integration of girls and boys' education in the kingdom, and
the basic education.
After that, and during King Abdullah era, everybody sees the expansion and establishment of universities around the kingdom, which I think now reach the number of 30 universities.
Yes, sir.
This is this one part of
in 5 or 6 years.
That's
okay. I'll come back to you, doctor, but allow me to call or to talk to my guest, Dr. Abdulrahman Al-Hamidi from the Embassy of Saudi Arabia in Australia. Good evening.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Dr. Abdulrahman, first of all, I want to congratulate you for the inauguration of King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz Center for Interreligious and Intercultural Dialogue, which was inaugurated 2 days ago, last Monday. I want to congratulate you for this great achievement. And
thank you.
How do you see initiating such a center in the heart of Europe?
Yes, thank you for having me this evening. Just to correct some information, I'm the Saudi Cultural Attaché in Berlin, in Germany. I was working, that's true, I was working as a cultural attaché in Austria. I just moved my job and my post just a few months ago, but I have witnessed this inauguration to be inauguration of the center, King Abdullah Center for Intercultural, Interreligious Dialogue. In Vienna, we just opened 2 days ago.
Yes.
That world leaders have come to celebrate this magnificent notion and idea of dialogue and of bringing all different religions and cultures come together to share the common ideas for peace and prosperity of the whole peoples and the world. You know, we live in a time of turbulence and divisions with regard to ideas, religions, thinking, people's orientations about each other, and for this charismatic leader to really bring this fantastic idea and to promote it at world leaders and to have this center established I think it's a great achievement for this leader, and that has been appreciated all over the world. I've witnessed press coverage on this event, and this has been definitely recorded by history that this is indeed a visionary man by any means.
It was a historic moment, and even though it was said by the foreign minister of Australia and the foreign minister of Spain and all the leaders, all the scholars, the religious scholars, because we had a rabbi and we have so many people spoke in that occasion. Dr. Abdulrahman, now, how do you think the center, you've lived in this area, how do you think the functioning of the center would do in favor of the Islamic nation?
Yes, I think that any rational person will understand that after the effects of 9/11, Islam and Muslims have been viewed negatively in the Western world, and there has come the phenomenon of Islamophobia, and the religion itself is one of the purest religion and the most peaceful religion in the world. It seems it has been it's been under attack so much that this center will definitely rectify this and correct the understanding of Islam as a religion of peace, as a religion of love, as a religion of that contains everybody, and it's also a religion that goes in harmony with other religions. It is indeed a fantastic idea that this center will furnish and will facilitate in a way of like maybe lectures, symposia, publications, that all these religions really can be harmonious together. There is no conflict. Conflict is just in the mind of the ones that are not practical. It is time, and it is time for really understanding each other religiously, that they can really live together. Islam is a natural religion, and it's not. It's been victimized in the media so much that this center will definitely correct this idea, that it will put it in the ranking that it deserves.
Dr. Abdulrahman, as the cultural attaché of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in Berlin and before in Austria, how do you evaluate the selection of the custodian of the two holy mosques, the most influential personality in the Islamic world? And last year he was chosen by Forbes as the second powerful leader in the world after the Chinese president. He was the second as the cultural attaché of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. How do you evaluate such a selection, and what kind of a message that sends to you as cultural attachés in the outside world, and especially in Europe?
Yes. First of all, we're as Saudis living abroad, we are very, very happy for the recovery of His Majesty, of the illness that he has experienced, and I'm very happy to see him well on the TV, and I think the people of Saudi Arabia, I'm sure, are ecstatic for this. I think the selection of him being nominated as the most influential leader in the Islamic world is a true one. He's a true leader in a way in his sincerity, in his action, in his initiatives, that he is a man of his word. He is a charismatic leader. He is well recognized not only in our region but worldwide. He is well respected. He is in touch with his own people. He is pragmatic. for all these comes together, he's been nominated for initiatives that will take many years to be realized. I think he has, during his reign of 10 years, he was able to have executed influential and our significant decisions that have great ramifications in the well-being, not only for Saudis or the Arabs, but for many nations and many people in the whole Islamic and the other world. If locally and nationally, the issue of really helping the poor and the have-nots and putting it on the attention and the spotlights has really bringing justice to the people who are the ones that they have not, the poor, the weak, has really mobilized this initiative to a greater level. It has not been looked at. The initiative of education, I know you're talking about education, and it is part of my job of higher education. It is the first time in our history as Saudi Arabia to have 140,000 students studying abroad all over the world and opening in new countries, not only the USA or Europe, but we see our students in Japan, South Korea,
Australia,
of course, Austria and Germany and China. This is a far-sighted vision of really diversifying the source of knowledge for our youth and our students. You can really mention so many initiatives that has been materialized locally, but with all these initiatives, this has brought it to the attention and brought it worldwide that this charismatic leader has been nominated, and it is really true. If you look at the world leaders, that they are effective, and those who really have meaningful contribution to the people of the world, you will find them handful, and the custodian of the Holy Mosque will definitely lead them all.
Dr. Abdulrahman Al-Hamidi, our cultural attaché in Berlin, Germany, I want to thank you for this phone call, hoping to have you here in the studio in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Dr. Abdulrahman, we were speaking locally, but with Dr. Abdulrahman mentioned about the inauguration of King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz Center for Interreligious and Intercultural. Now let's take a look at this report, dear viewers, and we'll come back with more guests, Dr. Abdulrahman, and we'll be joined with another guest, Dr. Ibrahim Nahas. Let's take a look at this report of the why the King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz was selected the most powerful or the most influential personality in the Islamic world.
About 30 world leaders, including the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah, US President George W. Bush, Lebanese President Michel Suleiman, and President Gloria Arroyo of the Philippines attended the Interfaith Dialogue Conference at the United Nations in New York. The UN Interfaith Conference, which is the first of its kind, was held at the initiative of King Abdullah and on the recommendations of the World Dialogue Conference that was held in Madrid in July. King Abdullah announced that he would go to America for the Interfaith Dialogue Conference. He emphasized the importance of the New York Conference as it comes at an aim when the world is criticizing Islam. The conference was described as a symbol of unity among different faiths. The custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah, emphasized the importance of higher education in boosting the kingdom's development. He pledged the government's full support to Saudi universities. He stressed that higher education in the kingdom should focus on domestic requirements while maintaining openness toward modern developments. The kingdom's national budget allocates about 100 billion Saudi riyals to educational and manpower training projects every year. Thus, it is one of the world's largest investors in education. The government has also established new universities in all of the kingdom's regions. King Abdullah also launched an electronic system named after him that will link all Saudi educational attachés with the Ministry of Higher Education. He also honored the financial supporters of the university's scientific chairs. The custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz, led the kingdom's delegation to the summit of the Six Nation Gulf Cooperation Council, which was held in Kuwait. The agenda discussed major political and commercial issues, including Iran's nuclear standoff, terrorism, the Middle East peace process, the Saudi position on intruders, a common currency, and ways of further strengthening ties among member states of the GCC. King Abdullah addressed the role of the Gulf bloc in tackling political challenges like the Middle East peace process, Israeli withdrawal from the occupied Arab territories, and the eventual establishment of an independent Palestinian state. A number of high-ranking officials and dignitaries have highly valued the speech delivered by the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, at the Kuwait Economic, Development and Social Summit, with emphasis on his donation of $1,000 million in contribution to Gaza reconstruction. In the aftermath of Gaza's bloody events, the Arab nation was on the verge of severe difference, which was mainly wrapped up during the Kuwaiti Economic Summit, thanks to the call of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, for reconciliation and ignorance of the past, as well as his generous donation for the Palestinian people. His donation worth $1,000 million in contribution to Gaza's reconstruction. Moreover, and upon the directives of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz, to provide relief assistance to the Palestinian people, a campaign has been initiated to dispatch 2,000 tons of flour worth 7.5 million Saudi riyals to the Gaza Strip. A relief caravan carrying 750 tons of fine flour departed Jeddah and crossed into Jordan through Hillat Ammar. The deliveries represent only the first phase of the Saudi relief campaign.
Welcome back, dear viewers, to Bridges, and we're discussing the selection of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz, as the most influential Islamic personalities in the Islamic world. Der Spiegel, a newspaper, a German newspaper, wrote the points why the king was chosen among the most influential leaders of the world, given scholarships to over 130,000 Saudi students who are currently studying overseas. 30% are female. Established the King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz International Center for Interreligious and Intercultural Dialogue in Vienna, which we spoke about before the report. Granted women the right to vote in 2015 municipal elections. Spent over $60 billion in benefits to Saudi citizens, including housing, jobs, while introducing a minimum wage of $800 per month. Opened the largest women-only university in the world with a capacity of 12,000 students. Presented a $10 billion endowment to King Abdullah University of Science and Technology. Convened a global interfaith summit in 2008 and subsequently issued the Madrid Declaration, which calls for tolerance between religions and cultures of peace. Been the first Saudi monarch in 51 years to address the United Nations General Assembly, and the first reigning Saudi monarch to have met with the Pope Benedict, and donated hundreds of millions of dollars in cash and relief materials for many devastated areas worldwide, and pledged a $1 billion donations towards the reconstruction of the Palestinian coastal territories during the Israeli war in Gaza. Allow me to introduce my other guest, Dr. Ibrahim Nahas, a professor of political science at King Saud University. Welcome, Doctor. And Doctor, before we go on to details, how do you evaluate the selection of the custodian of the two holy mosques, the most influential Islamic personalities?
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me, and it's honor for me actually to be with you here in the studio with your guest actually.
Thank you.
And we congratulate ourselves actually. Today we see the king on the TV, that he is in good health, thanks God, and we look to see him practicing his usual job actually as usual. The selection of the two holy mosques to be the most influential isn't first time for us to see that. Actually, we saw it many years before. We saw it in the Islamic level or in the world level. Actually, we remember that the Forbes new journal that time chose
the second powerful leader of the world.
Yes, for 2 times, which is that's for the job that actually he did. For the people of his country, or for the Arabic people, the Islamic people, or actually the world
the humanity in general. Yes.
The humanity actually, and the jobs that he did actually to support stability, peace around the globe, which is make him very influential person actually. And we know that Saudi Arabia as a major country in the world, not in the regional level or the Islamic level actually, that made his policy, his guidance actually for the policy. The world, we usually in development in many levels actually.
Dr. Abdulrahman, we spoke about the reforms of the education already, but here we have another point where science and scientists. And the other day I was in Tax, King Abdulaziz city for science and technology, and I was surprised to see that we have only in the space program 170 Saudi scientists. 50 of them are female. 50 female scientists in the space program alone. Leave the other. How do you see the concern of the custodian of the two mosques and the Saudi leadership in science and scientists?
The care of His Majesty, the custodian of the two holy mosques, his care about education started or can be witnessed by the establishment of King Abdullah University for Science and Technology, which is a leading scientist for environment actually. We also he ordered the establishment for another city for atomic energy.
King Abdullah,
city for atomic energy. And this is a major step in the kingdom. It's for the first time. He's very concerned about nanotechnology also, and there is a program to promote this.
King Abdullah Institute for Nanotechnologies and King Saud University, yes.
Yes, I know also that King Abdulaziz City for Science and Technology is also concerned about solar energy, and this is supported
All
by the
types of
King.
sciences, yes.
So he's very careful to promote the scientists and education. One thing that was not mentioned in this arena, also the custodian for the two holy mosques program to develop education. And that was funded by 4 billion reals. This program
Is the development of the education program?
yes.
It's 10 billion Saudi riyals, sir.
Or 10 billion.
10 billion Saudi
I thought the
riyals,
10 billions for the judicial system.
No. 10 billion Saudi
10 billion.
riyals for the reforms
Yeah.
of the educational system.
Yeah, and this program should improve the schools, environments, and buildings and things. Also,
And the
it improves
curriculums also, and the
the curriculum
curriculums.
and the teachers. So all aspects of education are under his concern.
Dr. Ibrahim, also the main major of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is the service of the two holy mosques.
Yeah.
And we see the expansion projects. And now we are witnessing the biggest expansion projects of the Prophet's Mosque in Al-Madinah Munawwara along with the Holy Mosque in Makkah Mukarramah. How do you see the concern of the Saudi leadership towards those two holy cities and the holy shrines?
Yeah, so since the King Abdulaziz till now, actually, we saw the leaders of this country respect those two holy mosques very well and serve it actually very well in all things, whether in people.
And in all their speeches they say, we are honored to do so.
Absolutely.
And, all the,
And the name that is held that the custodian of the two holy mosques. That is honor for the king of this country,
Yes.
and it's honor for the people of this country, actually, for their leaders to hold this title. This country actually spent $1 billion to serve this two holy mosques and serve the people they come to it, either in Umrah or Hajj. During the year, actually, and we saw that a lot of other service offer for these two holy mosques, whether inside the two holy mosques or the
Other holy sites also.
other holy sites.
Jamarat bridge and the train between.
Yes, you're right.
Yes, many things actually that this country offer and will offer.
The last one, if you excuse me, the last project in expansion is expanding the Mataf area around Kaaba.
The circumambulation
yes,
area.
yes. This is also a new project.
Also, sir, we're still, because of propagating Islam through its huge da'wah network, which makes it influence felt in all Muslim countries. Saudi Arabia is very involved in the call in the Islamic da'wah, and we have the biggest network of da'wah around the world. Do you think that played a great role of the concern of the Saudi leadership towards its Muslim brothers?
Yeah, we have in the kingdom a ministry concerned about the Islamic affairs and
yes.
the call and preaching for Islam. And most Islamic centers and mosques are all around the world, not only in the Muslim countries, are supported by the kingdom.
Or actually were built and initiated
by the kingdom. So this is a primary concern for King Abdullah. And all of efforts of these organizations, like the youth seminar for Muslim youth, seminar for Muslims youth, have also other activities around Muslim countries to promote and disseminate.
Are you referring to the
Islamic symposium
of the Muslim youth?
Yes. King Abdullah founded just I think 2 or 3 years ago a foundation called Custodian of the Two Holy Mosques Foundation for Charity and Humanitarian Services, and this is supposed to provide its services for Islam and Muslims all around the world.
Now, Doctor, we have met into the education, the reformatory system. The king started reforms in each field or in all aspects of life.
Yes.
Since he became king.
Yes.
The education, the judiciary system, also there is King Abdullah, a project to develop the judiciary system, which costed, as Dr. Abdulrahman just mentioned, billions of riyals. Do you think that's all for the benefit of the people and the citizens to fix such a judiciary system?
Yes, and the step that he took in the beginning, actually, to say that we need to reform many things inside this country, that means he has a vision for the future, for the people, for the country, for the future of this country, actually. As you said, all things that he is doing since the beginning till now, that's to serve the people, to make their lives easy. And we see that right now, also Saudi Arabia like a workshop right now in everything. And
we are the biggest actually workshop of the world, they say.
Absolutely, everywhere. And in the Ministry of Judiciary, actually, this very important.
Ministry of Justice.
The Ministry of Justice. This is very important for all people, actually, because all people go to
courts and
for
need
many things to serve them.
So to
and
develop
right
that.
Now, and right now we see some develop things, and maybe within a year right now this system will be in good shape. Actually.
Dr. Abdulrahman, among the biggest achievements of the custodian of the two holy mosques is initiating an authority, anti-corruption and fanaticism authority in Saudi Arabia,
yes,
led by Dr. Sharif.
Yes.
And corruption is the main problem of all societies of the world. When you initiate an authority anti-corruption or against the corruption, what do you mean? What do you feel as a member of the Shura Council towards this particular? We know that corruption all around the world, but when the king is concerned, how do you see the concern of the king in this regard?
Yeah, the law for promoting honesty and fighting corruption in the kingdom was ratified by Majlis al-Shura, I think, about 4 years ago, and the commission was lately established. And this is also part of the reform, because you have to have the right environment for development to develop. This is another concern for King Abdullah, to improve, let's say, the bureaucratic system, which sometimes delay projects, and we don't witness sometimes projects. We see them on papers and the plans and things, then we don't see them on reality. And I think the foundation of the commission, it will censor and observe. So I am not enthusiastic for just catching stealers, but being an observer, so everybody will not do the wrong thing in advance. So it have very strong effect.
So it's a preventive measure.
A preventive measure. And this would apply also to Human Rights Commission and National Society for Human Rights. Those are the preventive role is more important. It's like security forces. We would like to see them as a preventive role to not to allow crime to happen in the first place, not to catch criminals.
But to prevent.
So this commission, the Human Rights Commission, Anti-Corruption Commission, also the major role should be preventing society from corruption. This is a very strong and important, and especially it came after 9/11 and after some international voices heard against the kingdom in the human rights field. But King Abdullah personally is very concerned about special rights of women. and he is very distinguished in this matter, and he is very careful to give women their rights.
Initiating a university for women, Princess
supporting, taking decisions to empower them, deciding that they will be just in 2 months in Ashura Council as members in Ashura Council, besides their right to be nominated and to elect in the municipal elections.
Yes. Also, we remember at the beginning of the year, the custodian of the 12 mosques, as here by Der Spiegel, a newspaper, a German newspaper, saying spent over $60 billion in benefits to Saudi citizens, including the housing, you remember, and the increasing of the home loans from 300,000 riyals to half a million Saudi riyals, 200, almost double, to ensure that all the citizens have a better living standards. How do you read that?
That's a very good step to be taken by the king, actually, because that's the first, his vision, what we said before about building this country, and that's satisfying the people, actually, because we know with many things going high with the prices, the king that knows what he should take for the people to make them relief about many things in their lives. This is a good step, actually, and we saw that the result of it, that many people starting right now to build their houses, their own houses, actually, with this good loans, actually.
Dr. Abdulrahman, now we have covered this university. I will come back to the human rights because you're a member of the National Society.
I want to add to the housing, because there is also a foundation for housing, a charity, a charitable foundation by his name, the custodian of the Holy Mosque Foundation for Housing.
For his fathers.
For his father, and yes.
King
and also
Abdulaziz.
he ordered the building of 500,000 housing
units. Yes, housing units. Yes.
So housing is very important. Education. So going for the let's say related to human rights, the basic rights for people, not
housing,
the right
living,
to living and education and things
education
like
and health.
And health.
So we have covered the three. The health. How do you see the development? The Minister of Health, Dr. Abdullah Rabi'a, almost 3 or 4 months ago, spoke about the initiating of 5 medical cities in around the kingdom, which is King Khalid Medical City in the Eastern Province, in the Northern Province, another medical city in Mecca, King Abdullah Medical City. How do you see it as a member of the Shura Council, and how does this affect on the human rights in themselves?
Okay, the right for good health care is a basic right for every citizen, and the leadership of this country is considering this. Just about, I think, less than a month ago, Minister of Health was in Ashura Council. We discussed with him many issues regarding health. He presented a very good plan to disseminate health services in all regions of the countries, because we don't want them to be concentrated in certain cities.
In the main cities, yes.
Yeah. Other goals of providing good health care is to reach the international averages in terms of number of doctors to